So this is actually a real appointment that I ran, and it was an annuity that I wrote and everything. So we're just basically using Grady and Patty to take the place of an actual existing client.
Grady Polson here, Family First Life America. So excited to have our #1 all-time annuity producer, Mr. Brad Allan, in studio with us, live with his beautiful wife, Miss Patty Allan, and we're going to talk today about finding annuities.
Yes.
So I can talk, but I am not the #1 annuity producer of all time. So if I would love for you to give us some clarity, confidence, and steer us in the direction that you feel that this group out here that's looking to produce at a higher level, that's excited about simple retirement solution products, and looking for some guidance, what would be, let's kick it off, right?
Sure. So what I would say is today, if you don't mind, could we run a mock appointment?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Well, because there's kind of 3 stages to annuity production. First, it's like uncovering them. So I get a question all the time. I've been running business for a year and I've never even found one. Well, it's basically the questions that you ask is going to help you uncover them. So it's really hard to write them if you never find them. So I'd like to start with, how do you find them? And the way that I find almost all of my annuity opportunities are through just a traditional life insurance appointment. And so if we could set up like 3 stages today, maybe we talk about how to find them and what you do when you find them, and then I can come back again.
Sure.
Okay. And then we'll do share the screen and this is how you write one. Okay, that'd be really helpful. And then once you've written it, it's not over. Because unless the money moves and it actually funds, then nothing happened. And so I see so many annuity opportunities fall off before they're complete. And so I want to make sure that doesn't happen to people. So, is that cool?
Game on.
All right. So for this simulation, and people have watched these in the future, and they're like, I didn't know that Patty was married to Grady. So just so you know, this is not real. That's my wife. So you guys are in your mid-60s.
Okay.
So that's a bit of a stretch. You look really good for 65.
Moisturizer.
However, you have insulin and metformin.
Okay.
So sorry about that.
Understood.
You're super healthy, except that Grady is the only one bringing in income. Okay, so this is actually a real appointment that I ran, and it was an annuity that I wrote and everything. So we're just basically using Grady and Patty to take the place of an actual existing client. So, all right, so I come in, I build rapport, I give my business card, and then I get into, let's gather some information. So, Grady, Patty, how you guys doing?
Fabulous.
Oh, wonderful.
Right on. And so I see that Grady, you just turned 65. Patty, how old are you?
60.
You're 60. Okay, great. And then, so I've done thousands of these. Just trust me. Let me go through my process to see how I can best help you guys. First, we're going to go over budget, and then we're going to go over any investments. Maybe you don't even need me. We'll find out here in a second. And then what you can qualify. And so let me get some information. So monthly household income, Grady, what would you say?
Household's about 9,000.
About 9,000. Okay, great. And then how much is your house payment?
About 3,000 a month.
Okay. And then for utilities like water, power, sewer, gas, TV, all the blinking lights.
Oh, about 500.
About 5. Okay, yeah, that's about standard. Do you have a car payment?
Just one.
Okay, and how much would that be?
500.
How many more car payments do you have left?
Too many.
Oh, so it's a while.
Yeah.
Okay. And then insurance, you've got insurance on the car.
Of course, 200.
That's important. And then do you have any credit card bills or do you pay them off?
Pay them off.
Oh, great. Because that's actually your expensive money. So that's the stuff you would want to pay down first. So that's good. Yeah. I'm liking your numbers so far. Food. How many people do we have in the house?
Just 2.
And the
and,
little
and
puppy?
the puppy.
Okay.
Yep.
So I used to allocate like $100 a head, but with inflation, I've kind of doubled that. What would you say you put out for food each month?
Probably 450.
Okay, perfect. And then cell phones. Everybody's got cell phones. What do we think we're putting out for a family plan?
200.
About
200.
Okay. And then anything for charity, like friends, family, church, anything reoccurring?
We got some kids we got to donate to.
Okay.
About 500 a month.
Gotcha. Okay, let me do the math real quick. So it looks like you have about $3,600 after you pay your bills. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Okay. And like I said, I've sat with a lot of people. I promise I won't put you outside your budget. I usually put people around 10 to 15% of that number.
Okay.
So I don't know if I'm a broker. So like on the back of my business card, you see I've got 15 A-rated companies. I do the shopping for you. But so we know our budget should be household like 360 to like $500. That's what most people do. But we'll find out who, if anyone would even take that money in a second. Let me ask you real quick, liquid cash. If you looked in the bank, like any given Tuesday, you just look into your bank account, checking savings, what do you normally see as an average bank balance, like liquid cash?
8.
8K. All right, perfect. And then, all right, the next section, what do you have that acts like insurance in the event of your death that would transfer to like pay off your home loan, like a 401k or an IRA or stocks, bonds, annuities, life insurance you own, not through your employer, but that you own? Anything?
We've got some money.
Do you?
But what do you do again?
Well, so I'm full service.
Okay.
So I do final expense, mortgage protection. This is a mortgage protection. So in the event of your death or disability, to pay off the house ideally, right?
Okay.
And obviously keep that in a budget. But maybe you don't need to add another monthly bill. I don't know. We'll find out here in a sec. Maybe use your own money to protect your other asset. So I always go through kind of like what you have as assets in your estate to make sure that I don't make a recommendation that wouldn't be suitable for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, anything like a 401k, IRA, stocks, bonds?
Yeah, we've got about a little over 2.
The 2 million?
Yeah.
Okay. And all right. So is that like an inheritance, so post-tax money, or would it be pre-tax, like a 401k that rolled into something?
I don't know that.
Okay.
Know that.
That's okay. The only reason I ask is you can't.
Do you know?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. We don't know.
That's okay. Don't feel bad.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know. Pre-tax money cannot be mixed with post-tax money.
Okay.
That's all. I mean, you just need to keep them separated for tax purposes.
Okay.
All right. And then anything else? You got the 2 mil. Who's that with? Is that like with a Vanguard or
I think
Fidelity?
it's Fidelity guy.
Fidelity.
Fidelity guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. And then how's everybody's health? Any medications, medical conditions?
We walk every night.
You do?
We walk. We're walkers.
So that's good. I appreciate that. So, Patty, do you take any medication?
No, I do not.
You do not. Okay, so that's great. A+ for Patty. How about you, Grady?
I take a blood pressure, and then I have some mild diabetes.
So, like metformin pill form,
Yeah.
or insulin like a pump?
Yeah, mild insulin, but yeah, it's
Okay.
mild.
Mild insulin. And how long have you had that? Like, were you diagnosed before or after age 50?
After age 50.
Okay, perfect. All right, so that gives me more options. I'm trying to see who would take you if
Okay.
we were to make a recommendation. Well, so now here's what I would do. Instead of adding another bill, your cash flow is fine. I would actually protect your mortgage with some of the money you already have sitting in an account with Fidelity. I mean, well, let me ask you first of all, does the market make you nervous at all?
Yeah. Yeah.
It does. Yeah, I sat with a ton of people in 2022. Most of my clients lost about 20 to 30%. Do you remember about how much you guys
About
lost?
20.
Yeah. We try
About
to,
20%.
we don't look that often.
So you lost about like $400,000 last year. Okay.
Yeah.
And so that makes you nervous. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's same with me. I don't like losing the money that I've worked so hard for. So have you ever heard about an indexed annuity? Has anybody, not a variable, I can sell variable, but you can still lose money with variable. You have to have a special license for it. I used to, in my previous career, put people in the market and now I take people out of the market. Instead of a speculative situation, I deal in certainty and guarantee. So if that sounds good to you, I can like touch on some of the higher points.
Sure.
All right. Well, this seems to be a chart that people really like. This one, for those that maybe or maybe cannot see that there, this one here, the green line is what I do, and the red line is where you are today. So with your money in Fidelity, you're going to be in a mixture of stocks and bonds, and it's at risk, right? And they're always unrealized gains. So when the market is going up, unless you sell, that is not your gain. Likewise, like markets do, they correct. If the market goes down, unless you sell, that's not your loss, right? They're all paper gains, paper losses. It's not realized until you perform a transaction. The difference is if you roll the money, and I'm never saying it's an all or nothing. It's really you choose what makes sense for you, and we would do some planning together. But if you roll money off the red line onto the green line, it never goes down.
I like that.
Yeah, that sounds way better.
Yeah, than where we are now.
Right. So the green line, you'll notice it goes up when the red line goes up, but when the red line goes down, it doesn't. So an index is like the S&P 500 is an index, right? NASDAQ is an index. So it's just a grouping of publicly traded companies. And if you bought, like, just give me how the whole S&P does, it would be the average of how the S&P did, right?
Okay.
So you're going to participate in the market's gains, but when the market corrects, you do not participate in the market's gains. So that's one chart. Does that make sense?
I mean, that's fascinating. How is it that's just what it does?
I'll touch on that in a second. Some people are not visual with like graphics. They like numbers. So on this chart, this is real ExxonMobil stock. And for those watching, this is actually exactly what I do. Back to our appointment.
Okay.
This over here is the red line.
Okay.
You'll notice that in 2006, it was a good year, another good year, and then you had some down years. So you started with 100 grand, and over a 10-year period, you went up 5.72. That's not bad. You started at 100, you ended at 160. These are real numbers, by the way. Now, but if you take the red out, you'll notice that the same thing, this is the green line. You started at 100K, but when you subtract those down years, that 100K ends up at 286 as opposed to 160. Instead of a 5.7 gain, it's a 10.6. How did that happen? We took out the dip, right? So like in 2008, Warren Buffett, the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, pretty smart guy at investing. He bet a New York hedge fund, I'll bet you $1 million that I'll take the green line and I will outperform you. $1 million. I will jump on the green line. I'll bet you $1 million I'll outperform you in 10 years. And the New York hedge fund guys were like, absolutely. I don't care if the market's going up or down. As long as I know what's happening, I can make money either way, right? The only thing the market really doesn't like is uncertainty. Well, fast forward to February of 2018, the bet came due. Warren Buffett smoked him. I mean, it wasn't even close. It was almost just like this chart. The red guys from New York, the New York hedge fund managers, they did some good years, but they had some down years too. And they ended here, and he ended here. He gave the $1 million to charity. He didn't need the money.
Sure.
But my point is that when you take and go from an actively managed to a passively managed over a period of 10 years, you will perform very strongly, especially in an economy right now where there's so much uncertainty. So if this all makes sense, what I normally do is ask you to go ahead and grab your statements.
Okay.
So when I come back, and so today's Monday at 5 o'clock. Is Wednesday at 5 o'clock still good for you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll just bring all of my stuff. I'll come prepared. I have an idea about what I want to recommend, but check on me. Absolutely. My website's on my business card. I've never had a complaint. I'm the owner. I've been doing this a long time.
Got it.
Not my first rodeo, but everybody wants to know, like, who are we talking about? Who are you? What are we actually doing? But if this sounds like you don't want to lose any more money, then I'll be back in a couple of days and we'll go ahead and take it from there. Does that sound fair?
Sounds fair.
Sounds good.
All right. So that basically is my presentation. right there. It starts off as mortgage protection, and because of your insulin, I'm not going to be able to do something for you like I could by protecting your retirement account, stop the bleeding. The amount of money that will more than likely in the next appointment roll over would definitely pay off your bank note if you were to pass away. So, and I'm not adding another bill, because all I could really put on you would be an accidental or a small whole life. I can't get you in term or universal because of your health, not your age, because of your health.
Got it.
And so I'm just looking for as much data as I can capture so that I can use that data, basically requirements gathering, so that I can like see the opportunity, and then I can pivot that into yet another appointment. And I'm trying to build credibility the whole way along. I'm lowering the sales pressure. I'm not here to soak your budget. It's just like the rest of the people I sit with. I'm the owner. I've done a ton of this. This is how it works. Warren Buffett. You know, I'm using all of these credentialing statements, and your tone matters.
Correct.
It's not just the words that you say, it's when you say them and kind of how you say them. I teach all my agents, it's like, do not end your statements with your tone going up. So you having a good day today? I mean, I think this is a good idea. I mean, what? Do you really even believe what you're saying? It's like every time you speak, it sounds like a question. You're supposed to have the answers.
Yeah.
What's going on here? Does that make sense?
Very much so.
All right. So what I'd like to do the next time we sit down for one of these is to like come back. That would be the Wednesday appointment where we actually share our screen and we submit an application, because finding it is super important. And the most fruitful way, you've already got a lead, you've already sat in front of somebody. You're not adding another bill if you're using their own money to actually fulfill the request that they sent in. That's just a win-win. And one thing else that I'd like to touch on, you notice that I paused in the budget section about how much liquid cash was in the bank. Okay, so oftentimes I'll hear in a whole life, like a final expense appointment where they have like $40 or $60 or $80,000 in the bank. Maybe it's a mortgage protection. They're 77 years old and they took out some money and it's just sitting in the bank. Like they have 120 in cash they pulled out of equity in the refi. And it's like, so why are we talking about a final expense policy where it's adding a bill where I could take like 50 of the 150 you have in the bank and put that into an annuity because you're at the right age, doesn't have anything to do with your health, and you're not adding a bill, you're using your own money that's going to protect the reason we came here. So that'll go to your family as well.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the stuff we're doing with SRS is just like any other policy. It's really not that complicated. It really comes down to the questions that we ask and the appointments that we're already running, and ask them with confidence, knowing that you have an army of people behind you you can tap into at all times.